So many new EVs came to the market now, but is the Tesla Model 3, here in the updated version, the Model 3 Highland, still the electric vehicle to go for? And also, so many people have moved to the Model Y, making it the best-selling car in the world now, meanwhile. But should you rather go for a Model 3 or a Model Y? We'll also talk about that in this very review with Thomas Autogefuehl in 4K, full screen, full length. Let's go with the update Model 3. You can see here also the new headlamps. They now also recently unlocked a Matrix LED feature. Here in night driving, we can experience the new Matrix LED. It's pretty interesting when you look at the front then. See it working on and off for certain areas, also when there's a car in front of us. So yeah, quite good. I feel it's a little bit nervous at some point. So other systems I've seen, they're a little bit calmer. So it switches a lot back and forth between the different situations. I think they need to do some tweaking there. But definitely the light performance you get is already quite cool. This then here, the deep blue color. There are also two new colors, a gray and a red available. 18-inch wheels here in black. You can also get 19-inch wheels. However, comfort-wise, you always have to think about the trade-off between design and comfort, of course. 4.72 m or 186 inches is the length of the Model 3. Here, everything blacked out. This has not only been done for the Highlands change, but even before that, you always have also the black frames around the windows and so on. They've made this vehicle now even more aerodynamic and worked on the noise insulation. Also new tires, less rolling noise and so on. So everything even more efficient and upgraded. We'll also see in the driving part today, if it's really much more silent on the interior, we'll even go high speed on the German Autobahn for that. Batteries, you either get the short range model with 60 kilowatt hours net, or around 80 kilowatt hours for the long range model, which we have here. Then you also have all-wheel drive, so one electric motor in the rear, one in the front. Otherwise, just rear-wheel drive. The rear-wheel drive model is around 6 seconds in the acceleration figure. Here, the all-wheel drive model around 4 seconds in the acceleration figure. And of course, we will accelerate it out here for you here today. In the rear, the Highland facelift also brought this new tail lamps, which look more beautiful, I feel. And also, when you open the hatch then here, you can see they are attached to the hatch then here. They're not split, they're wider now. It's just that you have this edge then here when you open it. And also the turning indicators are way more visible now, especially in the rear. Before, the turning indicators were so tiny. Now they are way more visible, both in the front and also in the rear. Do you think, by the way, that Tesla has some kind of a Porsche design? Well, I do think so. And well, that's probably also the reason why they have, you can also open it with a smartphone, why they have a Frunk, and is also a very large one, very well usable. And Leah wanted to demonstrate what else you can do with the Frunk here. So yes, it is spacious enough for maybe a lunch break or something. To open and close the vehicle, you would use the app. However, here at the moment I don't have any signal still. However, I could still close or open the vehicle like that. Or you use the key card and then hold it at the B pillar, for example. Then here these famous door handles. I don't think they're most practical, but it also works. Then the door closing sound. It's actually not too bad, although it's frameless windows here. And it's also dual insulation. And since the Highland upgrade here, not only in the front, but also in the rear dual insulation. So this is also a major thing then. And what I also found very cool is here at the inside of the doors, you have a felt covering here at the inside. This is with super large, high premium German cars, not the case anymore nowadays. Cockpit overview, either you have a black interior scheme or here this optional white interior scheme, one of the very few options that they offer for around like 1,500 euros or dollars approximately. Here always then white leatherette at the inside of the doors. In the black version, when you have the short range model, you have fabric on the inside of the doors. In the long range model, with the black interior, do you have then Alcantara microfiber at the inside of the door. Same also here, microfiber for the two inductive charging pads. They are not cooled though, so the phones can actually overheat there, but it's good in the like felt quality, and also really nice. You could put two phones here to charge simultaneously. At the steering wheel, you still have manual controls here to change the volume, for example, with your left thumb. And here, this then to adjust the speed for the cruise control. Here you click for the wipers. The auto wipers, however, are to me not sensitive enough, so I then tend to use one of the functions here. And you can also use your left thumb again, so you don't have to click in the screen. With your left thumb on the steering wheel, you can also switch through the different settings then of the wipers. That's good. Here, since the Highland facelift, they have removed all the stock columns. So here on the left side, I have the turning indicators. Then also this blind spot camera view appears. There's an additional blind spot monitor appearing here also in the side speaker here. It's also one of the very few differences between short range and the long range model, that here you have 17 speakers in the LR version and 9 speakers in the little bit cheaper version. There's about 9,000 euros difference between these two versions, mainly of course due to the battery. Most of the other functions of course are in the screen. Also here, as for the temperature, you control it in the lower left. Also here, seat cooling and seat heating, so the seats are perforated and you can actually pick that then. Here you can see that here either for the seat cooling, or you pick here heat, then you have the seat heating. So that's a very good luxurious feature here then now. And the gear selection, that's of course a fun thing that you have now. Reverse, D and P. Some say they hate it, some say they don't care. Maybe it's indeed a generation thing, I don't know. I have to get used to it definitely, but when you do it more and more, then it's definitely easier to do. There is this emergency failsafe thing here in the top bar. When you click it once, then the drive selection appears here, and you can also pick the drive mode here or reverse. So I used it already once when I was changing the language in the screen. Then the screen did a restart. It was not to be controlled. But the traffic light went to green, and then I actually picked here the D on the top part, and I could still drive. And there is the auto shift out of park beta version, and that way I don't have to select the drive mode when parked. So here at the moment I'm buckled up, P, I have my foot on the brake, and then I just need to press to drive. I don't even have to slide forward here like this. See here, that works. The only thing, switching between forward and reverse would still have to be done here on the side, but just like drive from park, that also works automatically. And now the ultimate test. There in the front you can see this trash bin right there, and indeed it's automatically detecting that, because here now tap to reverse, just press the brake once, and then I can reverse out of the situation. So wow, well done. Interesting, by the way, here you can adjust the seatbelt height right here. So you can push it down or push it all the way up again like this. It's also a feature that is missing in a lot of cars nowadays. And I love the ambient lighting here in the interior. You can change the colors as well. It goes all the way around. Here Leah helps us with her finger for the moment. You can easily select that. And it gives you a really nice mood when driving. Middle console here, you slide these here open. It actually feels really nice. Then some adaptive cup holders, a lot of space in the front, 12-volt power supply too. And this is here, it kind of like plops in a little bit like this. Lower part, well attached, and even more space than here underneath. So very well usable middle console too. These seats here, once again in a close-up, perforated high-grade leather red, either in white or in black. These are the seats actually for Model S and Model X here with the Model 3 Highland upgrade, and they are so much more comfortable now. And this is also to me one of the main reasons still to go for the Model 3 and not for Model Y, because the seating comfort is now way better with this upgrade. We have to see if that Model Y at some point also receives these seats here. Maybe if you watch that video at a later stage, then it already happened. Let's see about that. Rear seats, very interesting. First of all, here also a felt covering at the inside of the doors. That's really superb. Also the ambient lighting goes further here, and there's even soft touch at the inside of the doors. And you have to think about, this is not a premium pricing here. It's one of the most affordable EVs, especially if you think about the battery side, like an EV that goes also for all purposes, long range and so on. That's really astonishing. And they have stepped up the build quality bit by bit throughout the years. Just here, when I'm driving as a tall person, not much legroom is left. That's the one catch, however, and headroom does work with 189 or 601. In the front, there's even more space left. Here, this one, the middle seat, you can also fold down for cup holders here, for example. And it's actually also quite nice. And since the Highland update, you have also a special screen in the lower part. You can even watch YouTube there. For example, watch our Autogefuehl videos. But the question is if people want to look so much down in here while driving, like here and looking down, not sure if you maybe get sick, then it's then fixed at least. Or if you rather prefer like just holding your iPad or holding your smartphone. The quality of the seats in the rear, by the way, is exceptional as well. Here also with the perforation. It's just that you don't have seat cooling here in the rear. That's not available. Yeah, but overall I have to say, especially for that price, for that package, that is exceptional. Just the thing with the fixed panoramic roof, it is tinted, yes, but that's sometimes even not enough in summertime. So especially in a lot of hot US states, people tend to use wrap on the outside of the panoramic roof, then it looks like it would be a closed roof, but it's not. Or sometimes you also have these, like insert, covers from the inside. I've seen it with some Uber drivers, for example. So yeah, not ideal solution, but of course they try to keep the cost down. You have to think about that for the price you pay here, there's hardly any other car that can match the amount of features you get as standard right here in the Tesla Model 3. What's also a nice feature is that you can control the passenger seat here from the rear, from this lower screen, and look at that, it not only goes back but also changes the angle simultaneously. So this is actually a well thought through piece of engineering. And here, by the way, also nice visualization how you can activate the seat heating here in the rear. As I said, in the front, seat cooling plus heating, and here in the rear only seat heating. But hey, come on, that's not an extra, and with the premium manufacturers, that would be again like €2,000 extra or something. Another question is, when Leah's on the passenger seat, if I can argue her a little bit by remotely changing the seats here. Let's see. So, it's not blocked. So the kids can actually also play a little bit with their parents from the rear. Maybe not. That's not a good idea. And here, you can also activate the sleeping.
That's good.
Sleeping position for the passenger seat. And, whoa, well, that looks comfy, right? Mm-hmm. As for the trunk, well, the Model Y meanwhile outsells the Model 3 because it has a proper large hatch here. The trunk is still separated, like with a classic sedan, which is an advantage in some countries because of burglary reasons. It's always safer to have a separated trunk. And a disadvantage then, obviously, you can see most people meanwhile opt for the SUV. Here, still very well usable, look at that. However, here between the wheel arches, it's just like about 90 centimeters or 35 inches. So it's not the full meter or 40 inches here between the wheel arches, but still the normal length here is 1 meter and 7 or 42 inches. Then here a cabin trolley also fits in a vertical way, and underneath here you have like a second trunk for the cables and so on, but you can also put them in the front, of course. So a lot of space, and here 2/3, 1/3 split of the seats to load through. And now we did a concise charging test here at the V3 Supercharger. We had a peak of a little bit over 200 kilowatt here with our long range model, and it took from 10 to 80% state of charge. Overall 33 minutes, which is quite decent actually. Not super spectacular, there are quicker ones out there, but once again, for the price performance and of course the convenience of using the Supercharger, just plug in to charge and it just works, and you don't have any additional token and so on, especially in the US, with the supercharging network, a big advantage once again. Overall decent result, and maybe at another stage we can also repeat this test then with a short range model. Woo! Woo! That went quick. Woo! The Leah meter also went off. So this is here the all-wheel drive model, around 4 seconds, just over 4 seconds in the acceleration figure, 21 kilometers an hour or 60 miles an hour. And the short range model, rear-wheel drive only model, around 6 seconds. So this is then the difference. And there you don't miss any Porsche, just that you get this one here for half the price in the Taycan, for example. Well, steering is actually a matter of setup. It's lower here because of the doggos. So here at the moment I have comfort steering activated. It's precise and direct. I like that. However, you can always switch that. Of course, to switch things here in the infotainment system, it's always better to do that when stationary here. You can also go to standard or then to sport. Here then you have more feedback. So that's, I mean, it's precise and nice and direct in every setting. It's just a question of how much force do you want to apply. Like here a little bit more, or then in comfort or standard a little bit less. Yeah, that's just up to your liking then. And yeah, maybe standard is good. I used to drive in sport, a couple of years back, but now I think it got more feeling overall. And it's nice and small and compact overall. The driving feeling here is really, really good. We have these nice countryside roads here, and you have a very good control over the vehicle. It's also kind of bumpy here in these roads, and that's a good test because they have worked on the comfort and suspension and so on over the years in the Model 3 as well. I feel it has become better, but it's still not, as I would say, it's a very comfortable ride. We have the 18-inch wheels mounted here. Of course, if you go for bigger wheels, usually that also reduces the comfort. I think I would just stick with these then here. Yeah, tires are also different than here since the Highland model upgrade. So the seats also play a big role because the seats are so much better. Also, the whole driving comfort is way better. And this is also what I feel is better than in the Model Y. At the moment we're recording this video, the Model Y has not been updated yet, in the same way that the Model 3 has been updated. And so the Model 3 seats here, taking from the X and the S, are so much better. Great comfort with these seats here. And they kind of even out the lacking comfort from the suspension. If you think about the competitors with the suspension, the thing is, there are also a lot of other EVs that are mounted and with large wheels and stiff suspension that are also not much more comfortable. There are more comfortable ones though, definitely. But it has been this weird trend with the EVs. They have a lot of weight because of the battery, then manufacturers just put the suspension stiff that they can cope with that actually, and that leads to less driving comfort. So not a good trend at all. So if you ask yourself also, should I go for Model 3 or Model S? If you decide that, the air suspension that the Model S has, this is like the main difference, I would say. There the Model S is still a little bit better, but everything else, the Model 3 is just more than enough. Here when I'm using a turning indicator, I also have then here this blind spot camera view, which now has the same color as well. Also using the turning indicators here, it automatically goes back again, so I don't have to press it twice. It just automatically goes back like the turning indicator goes back. Additional blind spot monitor I can also show you soon on the motorway. It appears like a small red light right here. It's also additional helpful feature. Using these turning indicators, you get used to that actually. I wouldn't say it's ideal. It's also like this stalk column saving. Here, when you are in normal traffic situations, I would say you pretty much get used to it. It's just when you are in a roundabout, and you have the steering like here already, and then you have to control them. There you see that in the US, there are not many roundabouts, and Elon Musk obviously didn't think about that. But in Europe, you have a lot of roundabouts, and then this is actually quite often a problem. Big change is definitely noise insulation. They have worked on that a lot here with the Highland facelift update, and we already feel that when we're driving slowly. More, of course, when we soon drive the motorway, then we even more feel that, but it's just so much like a calming and almost luxurious ride, besides the suspension, with the seats and the good noises. Oh, that's a sweet doggo. Yeah, we always do that when we drive together. Like, oh, there's a dog there, also that dog there.
We want one.
Oh, yeah, she still wants one. Yeah, we have one cat at the moment. Yeah, she already takes a lot of care, definitely, the cats. Yeah. What do you say about the comfort?
It's good. I like it.
Yeah. Yeah, feels very comfortable as well. She also likes to drive this one, so I'm really happy with the facelift changes here from the Model 3, and this indeed would lead me pick the Model 3 over the Model Y at the moment. Of course, with the with the proper hatch opening in the rear, it's more practical, especially for family use and so on. That's why the Model Y is leading the sales at the moment at Tesla, not the Model 3 anymore. But especially with the seating comfort here, the Model 3 is indeed way better now. So I'm looking forward if the Model Y will get the very same facelift updates of the Model 3 at some point. Yeah, this will be a crucial thing. Now I would say let's drive a little bit faster on the Autobahn. And now acceleration onto the motorway. Woo! There we go. And that's 170. Whoa, that went quick. Really nice. And still triggered the Lear meter. Now we're driving also faster, and this is also where the upgrade changes play a massive role. Yeah, here at 140 kilometers an hour, like 80 miles an hour, something like that, it gets more noisy still, but it's definitely way more silent than before. Now we can accelerate even more out. Let's see. So then now reduce the top speed to 200 kilometers an hour, 125 miles an hour, and that is of course due to the tires. Yeah, that gets really loud, right? I feel, by the way, that the brakes could be a little bit better. So when you have this one up to speed, I feel that, you know, other vehicles, yeah, they're also like from the German premium manufacturers, they have better brakes. So I feel this vehicle takes a lot of time to. Not sure if it's only a felt thing or something. Yeah, I mean, in most situations you will not use the real brakes at all because you always go with the recuperation, and there's no one behind us now. So when I just leave my foot on the throttle, there's always strong recuperation. This is set all on one pedal driving feeling. So you usually just use the accelerator pedal and that's it actually. So you get used to it, that you don't apply too much G-force on the passenger especially. You learn to lift it a little more gently back and forth, and that's all things of getting used to it. So, but here now, like at normal motorway speeds, it's way more silent than before, and together with the upgraded comfort seats, you know, and the noise insulation, this gives a more elaborate feeling. That's the thing I love most about the Model 3 Highland upgrade actually. Here now also in the tunnel, it doesn't get too loud. Oh, we can also see the very nice ambient lighting. I love that. That's beautiful. So indeed some premium features now in this vehicle, which is still a very affordable car, especially when you think about EV dimensions. Of course, not affordable in the sense of, hey, I want the cheapest car available. But in the EV segment, for what you get for that, we also feel that while driving, still a very, very good deal. And some of the changes, especially like here and here, you get used to it indeed. Maybe even if you're not the biggest fan of it, you get used to it, and it gets then also like things that maybe were annoying you before, they definitely get less annoying if you know what I mean, right? Here, by the way, lane change, a little bit higher speeds. Yeah, it's also fun to drive. It has a low center of gravity, like all EVs. That's really cool. The only thing here, you know, with some rain here today, once again, and the auto setting for the wipers, sometimes it does work, and sometimes you feel like, wait a minute, is that, or why aren't the wipers going? So I'm not sure. So the automatic wipers are sometimes, let's say, not sensitive enough, I feel. And what we also want to test is here. So when I click once, I have normal cruise control. Click twice, you can also, you know, change that setting how you want to have it. Here I have the cruise control then with lane keeping assist, and now it also gets tricky here with the construction side. One yellow line, one white line, but this has been improved massively. So I've been criticizing their adaptive features here, like the lane keeping assist. You know, it was always really bad, even though they were always claiming it was so good. It was really bad always. And here, massive improvement now. So even if there's construction side, okay, now it's like really confusing with the white line and so on. And now you see it gets a little bit hectic. I feel it in my hand, but even that is, the vehicle is mastering quite well. So, wow, that's a massive upgrade meanwhile. I also heard that in the US it's supposed to work always better than in Europe. That might be a thing. But here is no comparison to, you know, when I tested it like 2 years before or something. This is interesting. This is, you know, like the half of the line is lying on the ground. So this is massively better now. So actually now the active lane keeping assist is also well usable here in this. Wow, these lines are all over the place here. Interesting. Yeah, but so far, yeah. Also, adaptive cruise control with the lane keeping assist mastered quite well. Only things I do miss, by the way, here while driving, and also here driving at night, I realized that the speed is just in the display. Obviously, we talked about that so many times, and I do miss a head-up display or instruments that I always have to like change my focus length and also the line of sight to check the speed. It's just not good, and yeah, you get used to it, but it doesn't mean that it's actually good. Also, when you're using the adaptive cruise control for a longer period of time with the lane keeping assist and you're just driving straight, it goes quite quickly because it's not a capacitive steering wheel that the car is annoyed or says, hey, you have to move the steering wheel, so the car still knows that you are there. Here, apply slide force, there it is. And either you go do like a short push then, or what you could also do is like do a very slight constant pull here on one side on the steering, but I think that's not ideal. Of course, the ideal solution would be a capacitive sensor in the steering wheel that it still knows you're still there, you know. Pricing $45,000 or 52,000 euros here for the long range model. 9,000 euros less expensive is than the entry model, the short range model with rear wheel drive only. This is of course best in price performance. This one here, of course, you can score the best range with, and you have to think about at this kind of efficiency, because what we scored here today is 14 kilowatt hours on 1 kilometer. That's 4.4 miles per kilowatt hour. That's extremely efficient. We took off like the caps there. We did not have like a super acceleration in that one, but also like city traffic and Autobahn and so on. Very efficient. That's where Tesla is still leading. And that means here concise range would be some 570 kilometers or 350 miles for the long range model. So the EPA figures here are actually quite correct. You know, the US estimation figures, the official ones. Yeah, that's overall very, very impressive. And for the short range model, if we could calculate with the approximate same consumption figure, this would be like 430 kilometers or like 270 miles, which would still be very decent at that price point. So I think if you compare it to the Tesla Model Y, especially since it has not been updated yet at the recording of this video, the seats make so much difference. They're so much more comfortable. So if you don't need that special SUV trunk, which most people go for nowadays because the Model Y is the best seller now, I think at this moment this is still one of the best, if not the best EV to buy yet. If you think about that, for a lot of other, for example, even premium EVs, you pay double the price and you sometimes even get less from the features. And now check out our other Tesla reviews if you haven't seen them so far.